The Caribbean is a region dominated by water. All ecosystems within it are touched by the ocean, and this has a significant impact on the native wildlife. Many bird species in the British Virgin Islands have learned to capitalize on the ocean's bounty, living, hunting, and breeding along the rugged coast and open water. During our explorations, we got some iconic species in front of the cameras, and they proved to be some of the most challenging and fascinating subjects we have ever worked with. So get ready, because these are the water birds of the British Virgin Islands. One of the best things about birding is that even when you travel to an exotic location, you oftentimes stand a chance of running into a familiar species. This is very much the case during our exploration of BVI, as we encountered many laughing gulls, a species common across the eastern coast of the United States. They can also be found along the Atlantic shoreline of Central and Northern South America, as well as throughout the Caribbean. Laughing gulls are found in the islands year-round, and it was enjoyable for us to see them flying through tropical beaches, as we are typically accustomed to watching them on the New Jersey coastline. Now, we hope to catch up with these guys and other seagull species later this year, so we'll save that for another video. Now let's take a look at a water bird we most definitely do not find in our local region. Check this out. The magnificent frigatebird was one of our most difficult subjects to film, because they're almost always in flight. This seabird is instantly recognizable even from a considerable distance away by its iconic broad wingspan and forked tail, and the males are distinguishable by the large patch of bare skin on their neck, which is called the gular sac. The magnificent frigatebird is actually the only sexually dimorphic seabird species, meaning that the males look different from the females. This difference is most pronounced during the breeding season, when the male's gular sac takes on a bright red color, and the males will actually inflate this sac like a balloon to attract females. Outside of the breeding season, however, the gular sac fades into a light orange or white color, and is barely even noticeable on some individuals. Though frigatebirds spend almost all of their time over water, their feathers are not waterproof, so they can only sit on the surface of the water for a few minutes at a time before they get waterlogged. Their main food source is small flying fish, and they will also take squid and jellyfish as prey if they can find them, but perhaps their most interesting hunting strategy is actually harassing other birds. Magnificent frigatebirds will actually bully other seabirds like seagulls and terns by biting at their wings and tails until they throw up their catch, which the frigatebird then snatches up before it hits the water. Magnificent frigatebirds also have a very extensive range. These guys can be found on both the Pacific and Atlantic coasts of the Americas, as well as in certain parts of Africa and Europe. These guys are an absolutely iconic species to see in the Caribbean, and getting them on film was an awesome experience. Perhaps the coolest birding experience we had during our BVI adventure was exploring an island full of nesting common terns. We actually came across these guys during the peak of the breeding season, which lasts from April to June, and because of this, their colors were incredibly pronounced. Like many seabirds, common terns are mostly white, but during the breeding season they have brilliant orange beaks and jet black caps that set them apart from other birds we came across. These guys are a highly migratory species, and they'll fly thousands of miles from their wintering grounds to return to established nesting sites each year. Now, common terns mate in pairs of 2, but they'll congregate in groups of several thousand pairs all on the same island. Each pair will lay 1 to 4 eggs, and they'll hatch about 4 weeks after being laid. Now, what's interesting about this species is that they actually don't build their nests out of sticks like other birds. Instead, they just nestle down into cracks or crevices on cliff faces and lay their eggs there. It was an absolute privilege for us to get to observe this incredible nesting behavior in the wild. Now, us being there didn't disturb the terns in any way, but we knew instantly after coming across these guys that we had to take the opportunity to share this awesome experience with all of you. Common terns are found all over the world, with populations found in North America, Europe, and Asia, as well as the Caribbean during the breeding season. They winter in large colonies along the coasts of Central and South America, along the coast of Africa, and on islands throughout the Indian Ocean as well. They prefer rocky, sparsely vegetated islands for breeding, but they will also nest in coastal lagoons, salt marshes, and sometimes grassy areas further inland. common terns are what's called opportunistic hunters, and thus they'll have very varied diets. They'll eat everything from small fish and insects to crustaceans and small squid if they can find them. And they catch their prey by plunge diving, meaning they'll swoop down from the air to scoop up fish and other prey from the water below. But if you think these guys are good hunters, just wait until you see the next species we came across. Take a look. Long before we started exploring, there was one species we knew we wanted to get in front of the cameras to show you guys. The brown pelican is a famous species, distributed from Canada to the Amazon Delta on the Atlantic coast, and from British Columbia to Chile on the Pacific. They exist only on coastlines, and the highest concentrations of these impressive birds can be found in the tropics. Even novice birders in the islands will instantly recognize a pelican. Their beautiful white heads and large bodies stand out from any other species in BVI. Now, brown pelicans are piscivores, meaning they feed primarily on fish like sardines and menhaden. Their feeding behavior is incredible to watch, as they actually dive into the water to catch their prey. They will fly up to 70 feet over the surface of the ocean, then plunge downwards with bills open to catch as much prey as they can. In fact, they can hold over 3 gallons of water in that throat pouch, and a lot of fish with that as well. They then dump the water out and feast on the remaining prey, and they can excrete excess salt from their bodies afterwards to cope with saltwater intake. We witnessed this behavior early one evening, and it was one of the most impressive spectacles of waterbird behavior we have ever witnessed. The brown pelican is truly an amazing species, and one we are so happy we got to show all of you. They are plentiful in their range and easily spotted, so next time you're somewhere tropical, keep your eyes out, as you may just have a pelican encounter of your own. Our trip to the British Virgin Islands wouldn't have been complete without filming some waterbirds, and luckily our explorations did not disappoint. We hope you guys have been enjoying this Caribbean series, and if you have, be sure to like the video and comment down below which was your favorite so far. Now we have some exciting news for you guys. To this point, we've only shown you terrestrial wildlife from the islands, but there's a lot more the Caribbean has to offer, right? Get ready everyone, as our next few videos will take you through some incredible shoreline, and then deep into that crystal clear water as we explore one of the most incredible habitats in the world, coral reefs. You will not want to miss this, so subscribe now to catch all of the new content coming out very soon.